All right, here's the last one for the day. So you've already watched, hopefully, the tax lecture. You watched my 1040 explained, so that way you get just a little bit better feel for how to do your own taxes. And then, like I said, I want you to hire a CPA, certified public accountant, to do your taxes as soon as you get either into college or you get into your first big boy, big girl job. All right. Then we've got take home pay worksheet. That's the last thing I'm going to go over here. This is your assignment. All right. And it's also practice for the test. So if you don't know how to do this, like I mentioned before, the best you can do on the test is a B. All right. So I'm going to get calculator out here because you're going to need it. And let's see here. All right, so I'm going to walk you through step by step here. It says determine the number of paychecks in 1 year. Now it says skip the step if hourly pay is what you're finding, right? Step number 2 says to divide the salary by the number of paychecks to get gross pay, right? Then it says add all tax rates together to get the total tax rate, all right? Then we subtract the total tax rate from 1 to get the take-home pay percentage. Lastly, we multiply the gross pay by the take-home pay percentage. All right, so in this scenario, it says assume Erin gets paid monthly. Find Erin's monthly take-home pay for the situation. All right, so her salary is $105,000, and these are her tax rates. We want to know what Erin's monthly take-home pay is, because this is her salary, right? But she doesn't actually make that on paychecks. So the way that we figure this out is like I said, the first step is to determine the number of paychecks. So how many paychecks are there if she gets paid monthly? In 1 year, there are 12 months. So we know that she gets paid so she gets paid 12 times throughout the year. All right, so what we can do first is we can divide 105,000 by 12, right? So we take 105,000 and we divide it by 12, and we get 8,750. Now, step 2 says to divide the salary by the number of paychecks. I just did that, right? Step 3, add all the tax rates together. So we take 28 plus 6 is 34, plus 1.5 plus 1.5 is 37. So our total tax rate equals 37%. Then, so that's step 3. Step 4 says to subtract the total tax rate from 1. Okay, so remember that this is a decimal, right? You move this 2 places to the left to get what it actually is as a number. All right, so you think back to your math classes and you thought, geez, I'm never going to use this. Well, now you do. So we take 1 minus 0.37, right? 1 minus 0.37, and we get 0.63. So that is our take-home pay percentage. That's the percent of our salary that we're actually going to get to take home after we've paid all of our taxes. So we get 63% of this every year, and we get 63% of this every month. All right, that's kind of how that works. Then we multiply gross pay by take-home pay percentage. So we take that 0.63 and we multiply it by that 8,750, and we get $5,512.50. $5,512.50. All right, so there's our answer for the first one. I'm going to walk you through the second one as well. So that way you kind of know how to do the hourly one. The hourly one's just a little bit different. You basically just skip this first step, right? So the second step says to divide the salary by the number of paychecks, or basically, right? So your hourly wage, okay, in this scenario instead of salary, okay? So Cade's wage is $26 an hour, but she pays 24% in federal income tax, 6% in state income tax, 3% Medicare, and 3% Social Security. What is Cade's actual take home per hour? All right, so we just need to know hourly, right? So we don't even need to divide it by the number of paychecks, right? So we skip step 2 as well. Add all the taxes together, all right? So we've got 24%, 6%, 3%, and 3%. It's 30, 33, 36, right? So 36% tax rate. And then, so that's step 1 for us, right? Step 2 then for us now is subtract the total tax rate from 1. So we take 1 minus 0.36 because we need to change that into a number, right? So we take 1 minus 0.36 and we get 0.64. So equals 0.64. Okay, so now that we've got that percentage, we can multiply it by our hourly pay, right? Because that's step 5 says multiply gross pay by the take-home pay percentage. So 0.64 times 26 equals $16.64 per hour. All right, so that is how we find our take-home pay per hour. Then all that we need to do to figure out the paycheck, all right, it says Kate worked 63 hours in the last pay period. What will her paycheck be written for? So all we need to do then is take 63 and multiply it by the hourly rate. $1,048.32, and you'd put that right here. If you have questions on this, please ask them. All right. Bi-weekly means every other week. All right. So there are 52 weeks in a year. All right. So every other week would mean that you have 26 paychecks. All right. That's what bi-weekly means there. Every other week. Okay. So that's kind of how you figure that out. Outside of that, like I said, ask me if you have questions.